This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All righty, Ira. I got to say, I know two bad teams. I know
Correct.
I know they played two bad teams. And again, I'm into development, so I'm just going to stay the course. Okay. And tonight they'll get a better test because they've got Denver. And okay. So yada, yada, yada. The young energy I like. The young guys came back from the injuries. My guy, Pallet Larson, was, kicking some ass. To me, those are the bright spots when I look at what's happened in the last two games. And it was nice to score 140 again, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have perspective. But, Big O, you also have to win those games. You can't have games when you lose against the Sacramentos. You can't have games when you struggle against the Torontos. If you're trying to get out of the play-in, you're teetering right now, you have to take care of business. Now, you're asking me, do the Miami Heat look like a contender? No. Because when they play the Knicks and the way that game turned out, when they play quality competition, it's a different story. But you also are growing. So there's one of two things you want to do. You either want to be in contention, which might happen, or you want to grow to contention, which with players like Pallet Larson and maybe Niko Jovic and Kel'el Ware and your younger players, you are evolving. As long as you're stepping forward and you can see the future, that's all you want from a team. You could be the Panthers in win now mode where you're saying, we're all in, this is it. You could be a team that's pushing towards something.
But they have stars. They have stars.
They found their way. You could be a team that's pushing towards something like the Marlins have for years, but we know they're going to sell off their top talent as they continue to do. Or you could be the Heat. That's not a very Heat-like position at the moment, but you could see a future, or you could see the assets to build a future. So, yeah, I think it's a time where you have to have hope. And as long as you can deliver hope and not, as you like to say, hopium, with having outlandish expectations, then I think you're in a reasonably good place.
And you've had your moments with the young crew where you have beaten the Knicks, where you have beaten Cleveland in over
statements.
Yeah, you have had. So tonight you get a nice, test against Denver. We know Denver is the superior team and all
Best
of that.
Player in the world, absolutely.
Hell, what are they? I think a 2-point dog, actually.
Only because Denver is without three rotation players. Aaron Gordon remains out. Cam Johnson remains out. Christian Braun remains out. All of that said, if you're asking me, would you rather have those three players or Niko Jokic? I'd rather have Jokic. I mean, he's a phenomenon. And I know if we did our accurate Pembroke Pines report tomorrow, and after what Jokic is going to do to Bam, there'd be all the people hating on Bam again. But Jokic has done it to everyone. This is a guy who had a 53-point triple-double against Minnesota on Christmas Day. He clearly is at the moment. There's no debate right now. With all due respect to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and what he's doing with the Thunder, Jokic he's a freak of nature. We've never seen someone that skilled, that big, and that bulky. So you know what, Heat fans? Enjoyed tonight's game, but appreciate whether Bam was at his best or not, there's no stopping Joker at this point.
And they have Jamal Murray. And by the way, they have Hardaway, who loves to play against Miami.
Yes, I you know what? It's funny, Big O. I looked before we did our accurate Pembroke Pines report this morning, and I'm like, crap. He's going to come in. He's going to hit 6 3-pointers. He's going to point to his dad's number up there in the stands. Yeah, no matter whether Tim Hardaway Jr. is with the Hawks or the Knicks or the Mavericks or the Nuggets or wherever he winds up, the Pistons, he always lights up the Heat because clearly he has something in play. Remember, this kid lived in the Heat locker room. I remember seeing him at home games. I remember seeing him with United Center because his family is from there. That's where Tim Hardaway is from. So, yeah, he grew up loving the Heat, and apparently now he's growing up hating on the Heat. But he's always had his moments.
I remember him playing basketball on the Heat court.
When the kids shoot before the game, just like the little Spolsters now and Chris Quinn's kids. Yeah, you used to see him out there. So, it's familial, but he's had his moments. Denver good. There's a class of team in the NBA, whether it's the Spurs or the Timberwolves or the Nuggets or the Thunder, or honestly right now, probably the Pistons and Knicks. The Heat are not in that class. Could they win a game during the regular season? Yes. Can they win 4 of 7? God bless you, Eric Spoelstra. No way. Not right now. They're building back toward that.
Yeah. Eric's good. He's not that good. I mean,
He's not a magician. Yes. He's not Houdini.
He's not Moses, bro. He's not splitting the Red Sea.
It's not like we're going to do that. Yeah.
Let's chill out here. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm not for any of the Giannis moves or anything like that, because, again, I watched it, and so impressive how the Spurs have OKC's number now, 3-0. That is that, and you know, this reminds me of regular season matchups of years ago when, like, the matchup meant something so early in the season because both give a shit about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, as long as you have rivalries, you'll have regular season moments. And San Antonio knows, hey, the Thunder might have gotten out of the gates, but we got Wemby, who sort of just is as much of a unicorn as Jokic is, you know, with the way he plays at 7'19" or whatever he is right now, which also shows you need that player. In a sport where only 5 are on the court,
Yeah, but the depth of both of those teams is just stupid.
The depth of supporting players. I got to tell you, Big O, if the Heat added a star on top of this mix, the depth of Tyler in support and Bam in support and Wiggins in support and Powell in support would be great, but there's no one to support. So the Heat have a bunch of beams, but they don't have that roof. They don't have that ultimate top tier kind of player support. They're hard to find. You tend to find them by losing and getting a high pick. Jokic was different. He's a second-round international star who was drafted during a Taco Bell commercial. That's the outlier. But you can see these other teams. They're adding these elite players. Watching Boozer play now with Duke. Whoever gets him next year is going to jump right to the top also. That's this league. The Heat are trying to do it the hard way, and it's hard to do it the hard way.
Yeah, no, it's hard, but I get it. And that's why I told you that get into the development part, because hopefully,
and they have.
Yeah, and hopefully you hit on one of these guys. So that leads me to Mr. Toe. And I understand the whole thing. You come back early, you don't look good. So fix this overall and then come back, 100 so you can play. If I'm the Miami Heat, I would imagine, not that they're going to say anything, not that they're going to tell you, but I would imagine you've got to be thinking, okay, let's get him back on track so we can move him.
I mean, not even move him. Let's just get him out there. Big O, we're at the point now, if Tyler Herro is going to sit out, against Denver, we know that. But let's say he comes back against Detroit. The most he can play this season is 55 games. Big O, that's Jimmy Butler territory. That's the amount of games that they ran Jimmy out of town because they said either show up or go somewhere else. So there's no getting around it right now. Whether you want to call it freak injury, however you want to deal with it, you need to be on the court or else the train is leaving the station and you're just not there. You can't be paying a player near superstar, near max money, and simply not have him show up. Tyler's in a bad spot. I don't ever want to assume another man's pain, but if you can find a way, get out there. I think it's important just to show up. Some of these guys have been busting their ass to keep this team afloat. We've seen Jaime Jaquez just throwing his body into the lane relentlessly no matter what happens. We've seen Pelle Larsson throwing his face in front of the entire NBA. I'm surprised he doesn't have fractures at this point. So you know what, Tyler, whatever it takes, if you can get out there. Matter of fact, usually at the end of our Accurate Pembroke Pines report, you'll ask me, what am I working on? Today I wrote, it's almost like Tyler is the Heat's Tua. You just can't rely on him to be out there. So no matter what he is or isn't, if you're not going to play, it doesn't matter what skill set you have, because you could be wearing all the pink hoodies you want on the bench there on Saturday night, but you ain't helping a team that needs to be helped right now.
And that's why I'm saying the second you get him back on track, you have to be looking for an off-ramp.
But there might not be an off-ramp if a player doesn't get on the on-ramp to play.
I get it. I get that. And you are 100% right. And this is why I've been, campaigning for it a while back already to,
A little too late. Yeah. And I'll give you an example, Big O. We both know that Anthony Davis is a great, great, great player when healthy. We've seen it in the Olympics. We've seen it when he won a championship with the Lakers. But even now, the trade market is not robust for Anthony Davis because we don't know if he's going to show up. So if you're a Minnesota or a contender and you say, this is our all-in move like Cleveland, and then he doesn't show up, what good is he?
Golden State says that they're interested in AD. That's crazy. I mean, go ahead, knock yourselves out. That'll be really interesting.
Right. Then you could have Jimmy and AD not showing up when you need them most. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my God. All right.
You know what? And that's what you don't want to be if you're Heat desperate. Now, I might disagree with your Giannis take. I wouldn't disagree if you say the Heat should no way look at Anthony Davis. I agree, because I think Giannis is a completely different level. But you know what? It's such a cliche that the best ability is availability. But in this 82-game marathon, you've got to support your guys, or else you're wearing them into the ground. And to me, the perfect example is Bam. He finally gave in. We finally got honesty over the weekend. Bam has been hurting all along. He's been putting his itty-bitty 6'9" body against all these big centers, and at some point it just becomes too much. God bless him. He only took 2 games off. I have no issue with that. And then he said, I am getting my butt back, even if it's against Joker tonight, even if it's against Jalen Duren in Detroit on Thursday, even if it's against Rudy Gobert and Naz Reid on Saturday. This is not a guy who said, well, I'm not 100% and I'm a little sore, I'm not playing. Look, I know what you think of Bam is a super role player, but we both agree he's a gamer. And he throws himself out there 100%. That's the difference.
Yeah. And I actually mean it in a complimentary way, because he's not a franchise player, but he's a guy that's super important to you. That's why I call him a super role player, because he's not just Grant Long. That's a role player.
Right.
This is way beyond that, you know?
This is not Keith Askins. This is not P.J. Brown. This is a guy with a higher level of talent. That's the problem, Big O.
Probably the notch under Chris Bosh is what he is. You know what I'm saying? That's just.
And the Heat have so many wonderful complementary players. Now they need someone to complement, and that's been the case. And that's why when you get a Jimmy Butler, you put up with him for as long as they did.
And the only reason I'm against the Giannis one also, he has injury history too that he doesn't.
That's reasonable. Yes.
But again, adding Giannis does not make you a contender in this league right now. All you're doing is trying to be sexy enough to keep people in the seats and all that. So instead of setting yourself up for heartache, which you're not going to get over the hump with this group like that and Giannis, go get as many first rounders, reset. The examples are all over the place. You're watching OKC and San Antonio, the best teams. They're the ones that reset and sucked for a while. Detroit, as you just met, the aforementioned Detroit, they reset and sucked for a while.
Absolutely. With Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, the picks that they got, absolutely. And that's why over the weekend, in my Sunday Notes column, I said, God bless Andrew Wiggins, get a first-round pick. God bless Norman Powell. It has been a fun 3 months. Get a first-round pick. And those two guys especially, even more than Tyler and Bam, for this reason. Norman Powell's on an expiring contract. If you just let him walk, you've got nothing. And he could walk. Andrew Wiggins has a player option. He can opt out. You may say, wait, Ira, $30 million is going to walk out of that? This league is full of crazy money. He might. Don't let players just exit stage left without anything. Get something in return. If you get first rounders for those two guys and you have your 3 future first rounders, you can either build the package or maybe get the pick. That's what you have to do. San Antonio did that with DeJounte Murray to Atlanta. Now they have Atlanta's pick.
So it's absolutely insane. All right. Who are you most impressed with out of the young guys in the last couple games?
Oh, I'd say for sure Pelle Larsson and what he's done, and just the fact that his energy, again, another complimentary player, but they need more than a complimentary player.
Yeah.
and obviously, and even Kalel to a degree, but I'm not overstating him. It's going to be slower growth. You know, he still has to help defensively and offer help defense. But again, there's youth to enjoy. I have no issue watching Pelle, watching Kalel, watching the young guys grow into players. Please, Niko Jovic, be more like you were on Saturday and keep doing that. Get out of that funk. He can be special, but consistency is everything with him.
I give him credit, at least being in the funk. He came out of it like, oh, all right, bro, that's like the Niko we want to see. So now it's a matter of, can you get the consistency of a Pelle Larsson? Because he is consistently a dog, dude, on both sides.
The dog-like consistency is easier, Big O, because it's effort. Everyone can give effort. Nico is about a unique skill level. So his dipsy doodles have to go in. His three-pointer that's been rather flat, he has the elbow injury, has to go in. It's a little different. And let's face it, the bar for Pelle Larsson is be a really good seventh man. There were times we thought Nico could be a starting four in this league, could be that sort of, again, unicorn kind of player at 6'10". But man, he is injury prone and inconsistent, and the Heat have had way the hell too many of injury prone and inconsistent. So the book is still very much out on him right now.
He's a moper too. When things aren't going well for him, he's kind of a moper.
1,000% right. Body language.
Yeah, where that shit doesn't exist in
Yes.
Pelle Larsson's disposition. It does not exist. If he screwed up 1 second later, he's back to being a bulldog, right? Or like Davion Mitchell.
Yes.
These guys are not fazed by mistakes or struggles or whatever. If Davion's not hitting a shot, it's not going to affect his defense, and it's not going to affect his shot the next day. He's going to continue to try and get through it. Whereas it just looks like Nico.
Yeah, you're right. Crisis of confidence. Of confidence, you're right. And I tell these players also, this whole thing when you pound your chest and you point to guys and you go, my bad. There's a certain level of excellence. My bad doesn't work anymore. Pilots can't have my bad. Surgeons can't have my bad. And when you're making $10 million plus per year to do what you do, you can't have my bad. It's got to be, that sucked, and I've got to make it up right now. I can't mope back on the other side. This is not a my bad league. You know what happens to my bad players? They wind up in the G League and in Europe. You are the best of the best, and there is an expectation. And don't give me this BS, oh, your expectations are too high. You're one of only 450 basketball players in this league. Yes, you're expected to be great.
Yeah. By the way, you know who that happened to this year? Tua. He kept saying that bullshit after every press. Oh yeah, I got to get better on the turnover, and then the next week it was another turnover.
It's not you got to get better; it's you got to be better.
Yeah, you have
be better or be gone. Exactly.
Yeah, and that to me, that's one of the things that Nico has an issue with. That he doesn't have that natural ability of just erasing that stuff.
Yes. You know what they call that? And Eric Spoelstra does the next play mentality. Get on to the next play and make the next play your best play.
I think that happened to Jaquez.
Well, that's what I was going to mention. You usually end this and say, what are you working on, Ira? And the one thing I already posted a story on Nikola Jovic, but I'm working on a story this afternoon on Jaime Jaquez, and he is one of those guys. He was 1 of 10 against Boston the other weekend, and he said, screw it, and he wound up finishing with a good game because he is always on to the next play. He just lowers his head, he barrels into the lane, he hopes for contact, and he keeps pushing forward. God bless that kid. He keeps pushing forward and has really good hair also.
Yeah, he does have great hair. I do admire the hair. There's no doubt about it. And I admire his tenacity.
His gumption, yeah.
The fact that he went through a shit year last year.
Correct.
Did not allow that shit year to define him, and he came out of it. So
sophomore slump to junior jump. Absolutely, yeah.
I got nothing but props for Jaime. All right, follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat and catch his exceptional work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Ira, as always, thank you, my brother. We will catch up next week, my friend.
Be very interesting in our accurate Pembroke Pines after they play the Nuggets, the Pistons, and the Timberwolves. A week from now, we will know who the Heat are.
You got it. There we go. There he is, Ira Winderman. Thank you, Ira. And at Accurate Pembroke Pines, they've got the Season of Performance event going on right now, the ADX 2025 model. You can get it for 4.9% financing for 60 months. We were talking to Larry on Friday there at Accurate Pembroke Pines, and we are right here towards the end. This is a great time to go to the dealership right now because they want to just crush it here at the end of the month, here on the 29th, the 30th, the 31st. Get on down there, take advantage, squeeze them, baby. Tell them that I sent you also. The 2025 Integra, $279 a month, 3.9% financing for 60 months. Acuras are built here in America, so you're going to be saving yourself some money. The 2025 RDX, $359 a month, 4.9% financing for 60 months. The TLX 2025 model, $339 a month, 4.9% financing for 60 months. If you're looking for a certified pre-owned vehicle, they've got a bunch of them. They've got a huge selection. The lot is overflowing with cars. So that way you get a large selection. You get to pick the car you want, the color you want, the model you want, the style you want, but more importantly, the price you want at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Tell them that Big O sent you. It is Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.